Balance looks different for everyone. We started to hear a few years back about work-life balance and what that looks like. And then over the last 2 years, it all got thrown for a loop when many of us suddenly started working from home and there was no separation between work and life. There was no distinct, this is when I go home and this is when I'm taking care of life. But it's still a thing that we have to chase. It feels difficult and it feels like we're always getting it wrong. But here's the thing, you're not getting it wrong. You have to figure out what works for you and don't worry about what everybody else says. Great to take other people's ideas. If a friend is doing something that you think is pretty great and would fit into your life well, great. Toss that in. But make sure it works for you. If you try it, it's not working for you, let it go. Don't keep going on that. I had to learn this lesson the hard way when I was working somewhere with a bunch of men. Now, I was on the senior leadership team, and the rest of the management team were men. And we would go in at 7 a.m. for a morning meeting, and oftentimes they were all staying till about 7 p.m. They'd always worked in industries that they were used to working 12-hour days, and that was the norm for them. And about 3 months in, we had a particularly awful day. And my boss said to me, Lisa, why don't you come over? We'd stayed really late that night. He said, why don't you come over and have dinner at our place? Now, this isn't untowards. His wife was there. She was cooking dinner. But that's the piece that hit me. His wife cooked dinner. I didn't have anyone at home. I was single, which meant there was no one mowing the lawn for me. There was no one making my dinner. There was no one doing all those things to take care of the home. Now, I didn't even have someone to take on part of the load. So I had to figure out how I was going to work this out. And I started leaving earlier. That's how I handled it. And when I was asked about it, I said exactly that. I don't have a wife at home. I don't have somebody at home that's sharing the work with me. I have a house that I still have to take care of, and I have to do it on my own. And that ended the conversation. So think about what it is that you need for work-life balance. Generally, if your hours are 8 hours, are you staying long? Is that working for you? Is there another way that you could handle it? Most of us are now in a situation where we can take some of our work home. So does it work better for you to leave right at 4 o'clock and maybe you still have an hour of work to do, but do it after your kids go to bed, or do it at the arena while you're watching one of your kids play hockey? Do what works for you and don't let yourself be pressured by others. It wasn't an easy step for me to say to those men, I'm going home. I'm going home now because no one's there to cook my dinner. I also did some other things that helped me out. Like I did eventually get someone to come and clean my home for me because there just wasn't extra time for that. And I had a neighbor who used to help me out with some things. So it was good to have that, but it was also an awareness that I can't live the life that those men live. I don't have anyone else helping. And that's okay. You have to do what works for you. Now, this also counts if you're more introverted and you need more time alone, then make sure that you go and you take that time alone. If you're more extroverted and you need more time spent with people, then in the middle of the day, go out and see your employees, no matter where they are. Even if it's just a quick hello, you won't interrupt them that much, but it'll feed your need for that interaction. Or eat lunch in the lunchroom. Do whatever works for you. Again, if you're not extroverted and you need that alone time, eat lunch in your office or somewhere quiet. Go in your car, go for a ride. Do whatever works for you. And don't feel bad about that. We all need to work on keeping our own energy and finding our own balance. As always, if you have questions about this, you can get on a call with me. In all of my profiles, you can go find a link to a 20-minute call with me. Have a wonderful day.